What's up, all you moto fanatics? My name's Dino. This is Dino Motor Reviews, episode 1. Today on my workbench, I have the Attack Graphics seat cover and number plate background kit that I purchased through Rocky Mountain ATV MC. So guys, welcome to the channel. Like I said, this is episode 1. Little introduction about myself. I'm Dino. I've lived in beautiful Grand Junction, Colorado for the last 13 years. I currently ride a 2005 Honda CRF 450R, and that's just the bike that's been right for me for the last few years. Older technology just seems to work with me. So how I got into this sport? Back in 1997, my cousin got his first dirt bike, and I was instantly hooked. And I started following Supercross, motocross, loved Jeremy McGrath, and that was like my ultimate hero growing up as a kid for the sport. And it became a passion and obsession, and I got my first bike at age 13. Didn't ride enough to ever make it into the intermediate or pro level as I would have hoped, but life takes us where we're supposed to be, and I went to MMI Motorcycle Mechanics Institute to be a mechanic, to try to drive a career into working on the bikes. And like I said, life kind of happens, and I chose a different career path. But I still have a passion for the sport and an obsession that has never left. So, goals for the channel. I want to talk about beginner level riders specifically. I love it if pro and intermediate riders have their suggestions, because you guys are the ones that know the sport better than anybody and are really good at it. So I always like to hear your guys' input too. However, being a beginner level rider, we fall over quite a bit more than most of you intermediates and pros. So I like to find products that are durable, that last a long time, and it's something that we can start with and build off of later on. I also want to talk a little bit about Supercross and what your guys' thoughts are about the races and stuff. We won't do too much because primarily I want to just stick to reviews on this. We'll see where the channel goes from there. All right, so on the workbench, we have the Attack Graphics seat cover that I purchased through Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Also, we have the number plate background kit. This is their standard basic background number plate kit that you can get from them. And it's actually held up fairly well. All these products have. So the seat cover we'll start off talking by. So if you're new to the sport, you will learn that your seat cover from stock is really slick. And on the 2005 Honda CRF 450, when I bought it back in 2018, it still had the stock seat cover. It's pretty worn down, very slick, especially in wet or muddy conditions. So I switched to the Attack Graphics seat cover, one, because it was cost effective. It ranged from $35 to $50, depending on your make and model and depending on your customization. And I believe they have that now. I'm not quite sure on that, so don't quote me quite on that. But it was more cost effective than Moto Seat or Guts Racing, which can cost anywhere from $69 on to $80. So I went with this seat cover, went with the standard edition, no customization to it. As you can see, the seat cover has ribs on it, and what those are for is for added grip, so you don't slide back. It's an all gripper seat cover with the ribs added, same material, so you don't slide back. It works really well if you're starting at a race, and it also works really well when you're coming into corners, that you actually stay seated on the bike when you roll on the throttle or when you're into braking. It has dual panels, so added material here for your knee brace preferred riders, or it'll hold up a long time with, sorry about that, got some stuff falling down. It'll work really well for you guys that wear knee braces, and then if you have knee guards, this should last a really long time. Underneath the seat cover, guys, I have a Factory Effects makes a seat bump. It's a little added piece of foam. It looks like a little wedge, and it had some adhesive on the back, and I put that on the seat as well. Then I just put some duct tape on it to keep it in place as I put the seat cover on, because the adhesive wasn't the most sticky, as you would imagine. So I put a little added duct tape on it. That kept the seat bump in place. Then I put the seat cover on. We'll get into tools that I use and stuff later on down the road. But you always want to start here at the top, put a staple in at the bottom, and pull it tight once you get that first staple in. Then put that staple in at the bottom, then start at the front, work your way down to the back, pulling it tight. With the seat bump, one thing that can happen is you can get creases in your seat cover if you don't pull it tight. So this one worked out really well. It moved pretty well. You always want to make sure you set it out in the sun, give it a little heat from a heat gun or a blow dryer. That'll make it more pliable as you put it on. This seat cover is 3 years old. I haven't had any issues with it, guys. I have one scuff in it, and that was from a single track trail ride in the mountains with a buddy. And I probably caught a tree branch that just was off the side and probably swung off my leg or something and gave it a nice scuff. But other than that, none of the seams have come apart. Staples held up really well, and it never loosened up on me. So it's worked great in muddy and wet conditions. I've rode in the rain a few times. I've rode in muddy conditions. I've raced a couple of times and got mud on the seat. I never noticed my butt sliding back. I actually kind of wore a hole in one of the pairs of pants that I'll review later on on the channel. But it's held up super well. So we'll move on to the graphics, the number plate background kit. This is semi-customizable. They had a standard kit that you can buy. It's very plain Jane. That's more my style. I'm not too flashy. I did do the holographic with a little bit of the sparkle look to it. Looks like it has glitter inside the background and the number. But it's held up pretty well. This has been on the bike just the same amount of time. I did get quite a few scuffs on my first few layovers in the corner at a track. It was hard clay, so that inherently scratches graphics pretty quick. Normal wear and tear, most of the time your boots will rub and start to tear the front of the graphic off the number plate. That's pretty standard. You'll see that on most pros as they race and ride. So I just trim the edges off. For me, it's not cost effective to go out and buy new number plate background kits all the time. So I just kind of ran with this and just stayed with the same ones. They went on super easy. I recommend getting either a heat gun over at a hardware store, at a local hardware store, or borrowing your mom, your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other's blow dryer and putting that on. It'll make it more pliable, easier to put on, get bubbles out, so on and so forth. Another disclosure with the front number plate. This is not a stock front number plate. All that they will send you is a stock number plate at Rocky Mountain ATV. So I had to trim just the edges because it was more square. So what I did was bought an X-Acto knife and a cutting mat from Walmart. You can pick these up. I think I spent less than $15 on both of these. The cutting mat will keep your razor blade sharp and not dull it up so quick as it would on metal or concrete. Since this is a metal workbench, I wanted something that was a little softer. Just trim the edges up and it fit right onto the Cycra number plate, Stadium front number plate. And as you can see, it's more of a round. It's a different plastic company, so it's not like your stock. But as far as that goes, these products I would definitely buy again if I had a chance to, or if I do have a chance to in the future, I'll probably purchase them again. Recommend them to anybody. And so guys, if you like this channel, give it a thumbs up and start following us for more reviews. So like I said, bear with me. This is my first review, and hope to see you guys out there riding.